Good evening, everyone. Jodanar here. I'm on my hunter tank today. We have our good little boy Tiny Tank. He's quite strong at what he does. He has taunt. He has shell shield. The combination of shell shield and cower is very powerful, reducing all damage taken by 90% as long as those two are both up. Which means that whenever you're fighting those big bosses, those hard fights, you can either stagger these two to kind of give some sustain, or if it's a phase that you know the pet will die in, you can just pop them both at the same time, and it's going to basically live through anything. And in fact, while these are up, you can solo stuff while these two are up, and just using mid pet. So that being said, let's get straight into the heart of it. So part of my research has been from a
Is this
website
a new interview that they did?
called Big Red Rhino. Sorry, that was another video starting on another page. But yeah, some of my information comes from Big Red Rhino. Uh, for anyone trying to pull off hunter tanking today, you'll find that there's nothing really in here past Cataclysm. I think there might be one instance of them doing some Miss Pandaria stuff, but that has a video on here somewhere. But I will say this: uh, this does have some solid information, and if you're playing on uh, if you're playing on a server like I am for Wrath of Lich King, then you certainly can still utilize that. There's also one more source of information. I believe it's the uh, Warcraft Hunters Union. Yeah, Warcraft Hunters Union. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. Warcraft Hunters Union. Unfortunately, it's looking like they might not still be up anymore. I can't seem to find the websites, which is a real shame. I did enjoy reading their stuff, and they had some useful information. But they are part of the crew that helped me understand that um, that resilience can be used in PvE. Because when you look at resilience, when you mouse over it, it says just in general reduces the chance to be critically hit by a certain amount. Now everything past that says it's for players, for uh, damage done by players and minions. So it's two separate pieces, right? But I have found, like, back when I was leveling up my warrior, um, I found that when I hit 80, I could just unlock the Furious Gladiator's gear pretty easily. And to help me get through heroics, I could just put on my PvP gear, and I could just grind heroics to get the actual gear I need. Now, I mean, said that was interesting when it came to all the other damage mitigations like dodge, parry, and all that. It was difficult to get those. But hey, what are gyms for, right? So before I get in too much into these talents, uh, and before I get too much into the gear, let me go ahead and say that this is just a introductory video. My research on this is not fully complete, and I am still improving here. Um, my gear is also not complete. I'm still going to be working on that. I've got to I've got to upgrade this to Wrathful. I could also do with getting like the sanctified versions of these, or whichever it is. No, that's the top gear. Yeah, there we go. I could do with getting the sanctified version of that and the headpiece. That would be very, very, very useful. But we will progress. We will get better. We will get stronger, and we will get more stamina, which is our main struggle. Um, stamina, uh, stamina is boosted on the pet. Uh, let's see, it's not that one. Yeah, one of these talents. Yeah, there we go. Wild Hunt. Increase the contribution your pet gets from your stamina by 40% and your attack power by 30%. So the more stamina you have, the more health your pet is going to have. And if I can get some of the end tier, like the Wrathful PvP gear, if I can get some sanctified PvE gear going, then I can. Ooh, excuse me. It's kind of late here, sorry. I can start pumping more stamina into my pet. I could also upgrade my gems. It's been a little while since I've actually done any gymming, and I've not done much enchanting at all quite yet. I probably do with getting a better necklace than that. But anyway, so let's just hop kind of into like a quick overview of this. Um, a couple things I've learned to avoid is the Cobra Reflexes. Cobra Reflexes, it reduces the damage that your pet actually does, and it also makes it hit more often. Now, if you're no stranger to tanking, you will know that slow, big hits with high crit ranges are generally the best way to generate threat for your character. I also avoided charge because, frankly, there's no need for my character to go charging in. Uh, if I have people that are cooperating with me and understanding, hey, I'm playing a different kind of build, uh, to make this work, I need your cooperation. Uh, so I'm always going to be sending my pet in first, and there's no real reason to have him use charge. That that stun for 1 second is not going to help at all. So instead of these two, I went for Spiked Collar, which increases damage overall. Nothing wrong with that. Boar Speed, I kind of do want Boar Speed, but I found that trading it off for more Wild Hunt and Taunts were more important. And those are more obvious reasons. Now, you always want to max out these two. You know, more stamina, more healing effect, actually. This one talent right here makes this the most viable. Because, you know, if you say you have a druid, especially in this expansion, and all they have to do is put regrowth and rejuvenation, maybe wild bloom, and that's it. The pet is always going to be at max health. Because, you know, from in this expansion, usually heal over time is doing, you know, 2 or 3,000 health, If you're a very good druid, you're doing 4 to 5,000, and that's per tick of each of those hots. Well, if you have a 40% boost on that, you're getting half times as much. So that's increasing you up to 6 to 7,000 per tick. And most tanks in this, they have a max of 35,000 to 40,000 HP. That's unbuffed, of course. So if you're doing 7,000 or so healing per tick with just your hots, then all you gotta do is put 2 hots, and oh look, every second you're basically at full health. That is the one advantage, or that's actually one of 2 advantages that a pet tank gets over a player tank. Now, of course, armor, and actually this also increases dodge a little bit. There's guard dog. It increases additional threat and also generates happiness. For those who don't remember, happiness determines the type of, or the amount of damage that your pet can do. If it's unhappy, you get a minus to the amount. If it's satisfied, it's doing regular damage. If it's happy, it does 25% bonus damage. So you always want to keep your pet happy. And if he's out there barking like a dog, I can only imagine what a turtle barking sounds like. But if he's out there growling all the time, he's going to stay happy. Now, Thunder Stomp, of course, it's good AoE. It also says on here that it generates a moderate amount of additional threat. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm always needing more threat. What tank doesn't? I avoided Lionhearted and Culling the Herd. Now, I would have loved to be able to afford Culling the Herd, but it simply wasn't so. It's just impossible. Now, I could probably get 2 stacks of it instead of Spike Collar, but this only works for one of the moves. Meanwhile, Spike Collar does it for all damage, all attacks. I also avoided Resistance. There's no real reason that you need it. If your pet is getting hurt too bad, you can pop Shell Shield, pop Cower. One does 50%, one does 40% reduction. And if you use these at the same time, then yes, you have 90% damage reduction. So if your pet is getting beat up and for some reason maybe your healer is AFK or not paying attention, you can make that last 12 seconds and 6 seconds. So for 50% reduction, it'll last for 12 seconds. For that additional 40, it'll last 6 seconds. Now I did go for Grace of the Mantis. If you stack this with 180 resilience, then your pet will be crit immune, because the same resilience, or the same stat your resilience goes towards, is accompanied by this. Now, if you're say a warrior and you are trying to stack defense rating and resilience together to try and go towards the crit immunity, the defense rating immunity and the resilience immunity are 2 separate roles, 2 separate avoidances. I know that doesn't make too much sense, but if you go pay a visit to the old WoW wiki, you'll see the breakdown of the formula. However, Grace of the Mantis does happen to go towards the same role as the resilience, which for us, trying to do this kind of spec, it does turn out well. Uh, turns out in our favor. So, and this is needed for critical immunity. This also gets us to, well, there's Aurora Sacrifice, but I didn't really get it for that. Uh, but the main reason I got this tree is for Wild Hunt, and that gives your pet stamina and attack power based off your own stamina and attack power. This is pretty much the only way to upgrade your pet's health, other than by leveling him up naturally and then he's stuck at the same health forever. However, if you get this talent, then you can actually upgrade your gear, and as you upgrade, so too does your pet. Now there's Silverback. Growl heals it. There's no real reason for it though. Last Stand, pretty good. But I definitely would not get that over Wild Hunt. There is Intervene. I find that just to be an extra button that does not really help much. And as you'll notice about this Intervene, it's different than the Warriors. Instead of transferring an amount of threat from that player that you intervened, all this does is negate an attack going towards them. So it's really kind of useless. Now that being said, if you are in kind of like a off tank scenario, and like you got a big strike going towards the main tank, and the main tank is not doing so well on health for whatever reason, I could see that being useful for that one time. It's very situational. There's no reason to really have it except for those rare situations. So now, getting down into gear and how I'm going to actually be improving my hunter. First off, I need enchants. I got several pieces of gear in here that do not have enchants. I also have a couple pieces of crappy gear from Pit of Sauron and such like that. I definitely need to upgrade those. I want to get the leg version of this. How close am I to that? Not very. But over time, we're going to be getting the appropriate marks or whatever. The Emblems of Frost. Or we're going to pay a visit to Vault of Archivon and see if we can get them to drop there. For those who don't know, Vault of Archivon, whenever you defeat the Frost Lord in there, the Frost Giant guy, Toraven, or whatever his name is, I can't remember. But if you defeat him, he drops, on normal mode, he drops the next to best tier, and on heroic he drops the best tier. So if I can get in there a few times, try and get these replaced, then I think that will be the easiest way to help this character out. I could also upgrade the gems. I only have the crappy gems, the Sky Sapphires. I could upgrade those to oh, what are they called in this expansion? I forgot. But the Epic Blue Gem. So anyway, we got a few things we can do. I could also go to an Icecrown Citadel trash farm and finish upgrading this ring. I think that will also help out. And of course I could get a better ring than this, just that'll probably take going into ICC to get upgraded. Whenever I get further improved gear, like once I get these replaced, once I get some appropriate enchants going, I would probably replace these two with either some attack power trinkets or some stamina trinkets. Because if I could get like, let's see, Heart of Iron. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that would give us nearly 200 bonus stamina towards helping our little friend. Um, let's see what is. We'll call it 160 for easy math. That would be. That would be what, 1600 stam? How does stam work? Yeah. So yeah, that would be about 1600 stamina from just this one, and then from that we need 30%. Was it pet talent? No, 40%. So 40% of 1600. Alright, so 1600 times 0.4. That increases health by 640. Makes it a little better. But, you know, it all adds up. All upgrades I get, they're going to add up. But I think that is a couple things I could do is replace these trinkets. Right now I just have them for the hit rating. And, well, let's just say that it's not going so well on hit rating for any of this kind of gear. Like, none of this has hit. But anywho, that is a kind of a quick look at this. So for this project, we're going to be upgrading gear, getting enchants, getting gems, basically the usual things you would do for any kind of character. I will be uploading some gameplay. I will be uploading some a demonstration of the Hunter tank in action, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully. Some things I have accomplished on this is Forge of Souls Heroic. Um, that's not a huge achievement, but nevertheless it is an achievement. It's not bad for not being completely prepared. Okay, we're still getting there. All right, but thanks for tuning in. I appreciate y'all listening to me blabber on about my crazy to-dos, my weird obsession, and yeah. So this is one of my 3 current projects. Whenever I finish these 3 projects, the Unholy Death Knight, the Hunter tank, and Shaman tank, then you can probably expect another one. Although after this, I may not be doing just tanking. I might be doing weirder things. Although I do have one other tank in mind, and that is a Holy Paladin tank. I like the idea of generating threat based on healing done, based on using Righteous Fury, healing, and having high armor, high avoidance. It could be interesting. Like, I always wanted to try that, and we're gonna see how that'll work out. Um, Another project I will have is a now with a priest. There is absolutely no possible way that I can get that class to tank at all. Um, Now in PvP, maybe. I certainly I hate a disc priest in PvP, but what I want to actually achieve as far as PvE goes, and you know, I'm mostly a PvE kind of guy. I would like to achieve a holy DPS spec. Uh, it'll be a little bit boring. It'll be mostly based off smite. There's a talent that reduces the uh, the cast time of smite, reduces mana cost of smite, and there's ones that increase the crit range of smite. So I'm sitting here thinking, why have all this bonus damage going for Smite, but not apply it to any kind of DPS spec? And then I realized, that's right, it's Wrath of the Lich King. You can kind of do what you want. You can try out things, figure out any kind of, you can figure out your own builds. And that's what I really like about the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. But yeah, these are some thoughts I got going. These are what I'm going to be presenting to you in the next few weeks. Uh, if you want to see more, feel free to give me some encouragement by simply liking the video. If you don't want to subscribe, I understand. It's it's a weird kind of channel. It's weird kind of projects. But yeah, definitely just give it a like if you feel like you want to see more. All right, that'll be all for today. Thank you guys. I'm actually off tomorrow, so I will be uploading a video. I've already done kind of a intro session for the Unholy Death Knight, the Unholy Death Knight tank, that is. So I think I will do something with either the Shaman or the Hunter tomorrow. So stay tuned. Appreciate you for listening. Y'all have a good night.